Hey, this is Neil with the Knocking Rod, here with 25 things that make the 2026 Toyota 4Runner Trailhunter absolutely epic. Let's get into it, but first, a big thank you to Toyota and the New England Motor Press Association for giving me the keys to this truly epic 4Runner. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and follow along for more. Thanks. So first up, we have this bronze Toyota heritage style grille treatment up front, which I just happen to think looks really cool. Part of the Trailhunter treatment is this LED front light bar. It's worth noting that you need to have the headlights turned on and the high beams activated for that light bar to work. Another cool feature on this Trailhunter, this illuminated Trailhunter headlight housing design element. Super cool. Another aspect of the Trailhunter treatment are these color selectable LED fog lights from Rigid Industries. Currently they are set to the amber color, but down here in this control panel to the left of the steering wheel, you have the option of changing it from amber to white. Pretty cool. All right, looking underneath the front of the 4Runner Trailhunter, you can see there's a steel front skid plate that's actually stamped with the word Trailhunter. Again, just a really cool, almost really hidden feature of what makes these Trailhunters so special. And of course, one of my favorite features of the 4Runner Trailhunter is this roll down rear window. Now, of course, you don't need a Trailhunter for this feature, but that's what we've got here. Why all SUVs haven't taken this approach is beyond me, but Toyota, to their credit, has consistently offered this amazing feature on their 4Runner. Love it. All right, this is kind of a wild feature of the 4Runner Trailhunter. This is a factory mounted high mount air intake. Some would say it's a snorkel, but really it's designed to prevent dusty air from getting into the engine here when you're running off-road. An interesting aspect of this high mount air intake that looks so cool is the wild whistling and whooshing noises it makes when you're driving down the road. But pretty cool to see that coming from the factory like that. All right, so let's see what this high mount air intake actually sounds like when we're driving. We'll get to the wheels and tires in a second, but as you can see, there's some pretty serious fender flares on this Toyota 4Runner Trailhunter, and they actually are part of what makes this version of the 4Runner 2 inches wider than a base SR5 model. Pretty wild. All right, so furthering the overlanding sort of mission statement on this Trailhunter are these are frame-mounted steel rock rails. So these are not just for show. These are a pretty serious piece of hardware, and of course they're on both sides. Pretty neat. All right, so I'm a total sucker for a good wheel and tire package, and I would say Toyota nailed it on this Trailhunter setup, right? So you've got these 18-inch multi-spoke bronze rims wrapped in, these are 33-inch Toyo Open Country all-terrain tires. Looks killer. I have not had a chance to put these to the test. One can only assume they're super capable off-road, you know, as designed. Love it. All right, so another key aspect of what makes the Trailhunter so capable are these Old Man Emu 2.5-inch forged monotube dampers. This is a much heavier duty suspension than you're going to find, of course, on the base 4Runner. And around back, you're going to find these remote reservoirs. So this is a pretty trick setup, one that really encourages owners to take this fairly epic vehicle and really run it off-road as designed. Pretty cool. So presumably when overlanding, you're going to have a lot of gear. So Toyota has gone ahead and installed a roof rack from ARB, right? So well-known name in the off-roading community. It's got the Trailhunter badge over here. I have not had the chance to put any kind of camping gear on here, but I can tell you, it does hold a set of surfboards pretty well. It's got kind of a little built-in wind deflector there. This is a pretty serious piece. It seems very well built. Kind of an impressive aspect, you know, of the Trailhunter. So another cool feature on this 4Runner Trailhunter is hiding under the inside of the tailgate door. take a look over here in this little section, you can see they've got 4Runner Forever stamped right into that plastic trim panel, both sides. Love it. Something that comes standard on the 4Runner Trailhunter is pretty neat. They've got a built-in air compressor. We're going to see how this works. Toyota has thoughtfully included this handy-dandy Toyota compressor kit. Open this up. There's our air hose. It's got a quick connect on one end. I have already outfitted it with a needle for what we're going to use for the demonstration. So I should note that the car does need to be on for this to work. Power it up. Before we get started, point out you've got a 12-volt outlet over here. Got a couple of USB-C ports over here, and over here in the far corner is another household style outlet. But we're here to see how this air compressor works, I believe. So there it is. You pop off the cover. There's your hookup. We've got our quick connect. Set that in there. I also happen to have this crappy old volleyball desperately in need of inflation. So let's see if we can figure this out. Go ahead and get that inflating needle in there. Okay, so I managed to separate the needle from the housing. I should note this did not come with the car. This is mine. But we're not going to be able to inflate our old volleyball. However, check it out. Let's see here. Got the PSI set. And if you wanted to go ahead and use this for inflating your things, you would keep that hooked up. And we've got air. All right, a cool design feature of the Trailhunter, and really just the entire current lineup on the 4Runner, is this wrap-up rear quarter window, right? So the glass kind of looks like it's wrapping up into the roofline, which it is. That's a call out to the first and second generation 4Runners, as the most recent generations had a, kind of a piece of sheet metal there, so you lost that wrap-up look. I happen to love it. All right, so kind of a hidden interesting feature on the 4Runner Trailhunter that you might not immediately notice. So when you open up the driver's side door, over here at the end of the dash is a little panel. That's Morse code, and apparently it says accessory ready. Now, on this guy, if we open this up, there's nothing there. It's just an empty space for your accessories. But on the limited models, this is actually features a built-in light that you could use for camping or nighttime adventures, so pretty cool. The neato features continue on this 4Runner Trailhunter with the electronically locking rear differential. Pretty nice feature for when you're off-roading. As well, check this out. Portable JBL Bluetooth speaker that I sometimes know how to use. But not only does it play music when you're driving, you can take it out and live that 4Runner lifestyle with your portable speaker. Pretty cool. And then over here, we've got 4 pre-wired aux switches. So you can light up the outside, do whatever you want, but pretty cool that Toyota has thought to, set the Trailhunter up for a full complement of auxiliary gear. Very cool. Pretty cool feature of the 4Runner Trailhunter is this mineral Softex upholstery with yellow stitching. It's the little things, I would say, and Toyota has just done a tremendous job of dressing up the cabin on the Trailhunter with this mineral colored Softex. Really looks great. I'm a total sucker for interesting badging on a vehicle, and I love the way that the Trailhunter gets this sort of three-dimensional Toyota lettering on the passenger side dash, kind of pulling in that yellow highlight they've used in the stitching. Looks really rad. And of course, over here on the door panel, we've got another Trailhunter badge. Very cool. So the 4Runner might not have as many Easter eggs as a Jeep, but here's a pretty cool one that I appreciate. It's on all 4Runners. You don't just need the Trailhunter for it, but you open up that center console lid and there is a little image or a silhouette of the 4Runner. Neat. For sure, one of the coolest features of the 4Runner Trailhunter is this Everest paint job. It's really the signature color of the Trailhunter, and man, it absolutely jumps out at you. I love it. Of course, no special trim level would be complete without a full complement of badging. So we've got Trailhunter with this sort of compass style design element on the doors. You can see they've included a piece of that here on the tailgate. The Trailhunter theme continues for these really cool stamped suspension control arms. And then even on the shock tower housing, you can see the word Trailhunter. So that's just on the outside. Toyota has gone to quite a bit of work here to make sure you know this is a Trailhunter. Another cool feature of the 4Runner Trailhunter is this high clearance front bumper. It increases the approach angle from 18 degrees on the base SR5 model to 33 degrees on these Trailhunters. So truly encouraging serious off-roading here. Another cool feature on this 4Runner Trailhunter is the stabilizer disconnect mechanism. So if we press that button, it's going to disconnect the front stabilizer bar for pretty serious wheel articulation. Another cool little feature of the Trailhunter that is actually common to all 4Runners is this 4Runner sort of design element on the headlight housing. It's on both sides. I love these little Easter eggs. Another key differentiator with this Trailhunter, of course, versus the base 4Runner is the iForce Max engine under the hood. So that's Toyota's fancy name for the hybrid, right? So this builds on the 2.4 liter turbocharged inline 4 in lesser trim lines, adds a small battery pack and electric motor to make 326 horsepower and 465 pound-feet of torque. Those are increases of about 50 horsepower and nearly 150 pound-feet of torque over the base 4Runner. So when you look at it from the perspective of the cheapest hybrid-powered 2026 4Runner is about $55,000, this nearly $70,000 Trailhunter model suddenly begins to make a lot more sense. There is a ton of overlanding gear on this vehicle that comes from the factory that way, of course, and makes a pretty compelling argument for buying your overlanding rig directly from Toyota.